Hey, peace and assalamu alaikum, everybody. I'm just sitting here in my car, wasting my time, falling down rabbit holes, watching Beyonce videos. I'm a latecomer to Beyonce in a way because, anyway, I ain't even going there because I don't want nobody to cuss me out. But I'm just thinking about things as I tend to do, and so I'm putting together a workshop dealing with things to have on hand should anything serious ever happen. People talk about apocalypse and zombies and all that kind of stuff. I personally don't believe in the zombie apocalypse per se, although I grew up in the 80s at the beginning and the very height of the crack epidemic. So I've seen zombies and was scared crapless because of them. I was younger, I was like 13, 14. So I've seen them. But I don't think that's what people are talking about. And I know that can happen again. But I do think about what a lot of people may see as some sort of conspiracy theorist things. But I certainly, number one, I believe in the book of Revelations. Because, yes, I'm Muslim, but I've read the book of Revelations, and it seems to me so many of the things that were prophesied in that book has come to pass, and lots of things are happening, now. So yeah, I believe in the book of Revelation. I am aware of a lot of historical things that have happened in the world, in this country, here in the States, and as an Afro-Native to my people, right now, today is June 5th, 2021, and it is the 100th, I guess, anniversary, you would say, although anniversaries tend to have like happy connotations. But it's the 100th anniversary of the destruction of Tulsa, Black Wall Street, as they call it, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so there are a whole lot of documentaries and a lot of talk going on about Tulsa. But why can't it happen again? And of course, we just had the and we're probably not at the end part of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, but certainly last year, when it really first hit like crazily, we see how people are. Man, whole shelves of supermarkets were bare. They had to put limitations on what you could buy. Toilet paper was hard to come by and all those good things. So all the preppers out there, I'm sure y'all had it like going on in a lot of ways, people who had been preparing for that sort of thing. But as, privilege would have it, we don't tend to do that. The majority of the people, I suspect, do not prepare for anything serious happening, and that's unfortunate. And I am one of the believers that we need to change that. So I've been putting together ideas for a workshop, things we need to do, connections that need to be made, all that sort of thing, in case anything happens and in case it doesn't happen. But of course, those thoughts take me even further to the idea of, let's see, you hear a lot of talk about how the black dollar, African American dollar, is like probably the most important dollar in America. And it's because we're such consumers. We're such consumers, and we always want the very best, most expensive, and that could be for a whole lot of reasons that I suspect, but I'll leave that for the psychologists. But we are also, there's also so much talk I'm 49, so well, I'll be 49 next month, inshallah. And I've always moved in like conscious circles, whatever you want to call it, revolutionaries, rebels, whatever. And there's always so much talk about how our communities are dysfunctional with the educational system, with the food deserts and all that sort of thing. But for me, the way I see it is that it doesn't have to be that. Like, literally, it does not have to be that. You hear folks talk about reparations all the time and government responsibility and what's owed to black people in particular, African American people in particular, here in this country. And I agree. But what the hell does that have to do with our communities being the way it is, with our children not having opportunities and such? You know, again, with this whole Tulsa thing that's going on right now about, people talking about it. And alhamdulillah that the woman, I don't recall her name right now, but she just sat before Congress, and maybe there were others. She's just the one that I was getting wind of, like little snippets on social media. I did not listen to the congregational hearing itself because, quite frankly, I get triggered so easily now. There's just like overload of stuff going on with all the police murders and just everything that I can't take it emotionally right now. Like, I need a break. And so I didn't listen to it. And, I've known about Tulsa for decades, so I know there's a lot of information I already have. So while I am so happy that she gets to speak her truth and speak directly to the government about what she witnessed, and it's so crazy because she's 107, y'all. I just feel like the creator was like, hold on, you got something to do. But with all that being said, we always want to talk about the Tulsas and all that, but why are we sweating them? It's remarkable that they accomplished what they did during the time that they did, the times that they did, the different communities. But why we keep sweating the past? We can have hundreds of Tulsas in this country, legit, like, you know what I mean? Again, African American people specifically, because we have the money. We have the money. How do we know we have the money? With all this branding, I wonder sometimes what the ancestors would think, like what they had to do getting branded with white folks' names or logos on them. Now we pay, not we, because I don't do it. My dollar is important. But so many millions of black people spend millions of dollars to have some white folks' names and logos branded on them, to feel like they are something. You know what I mean? And yo, we have the money. If you don't even have to stop doing that. If that's your thing, you want to do it, fine. But instead of spending thousands of dollars on a Birkin bag, how about take that, put that to the side for something meaningful that will last longer than a Birkin bag. Yeah, I know Birkins don't go out of style, and Birkins the quality is wonderful. It lasts for decades, 100 years or whatever. Well, what's more important, that bag lasting or your descendants and your community having an education and rec centers or decent homes or decent stores in the neighborhood to get quality produce from? What's more important? We don't have to be waiting around for white folks all the goddamn time, or the government or whatever. And we use those things as excuses, like, well, they owe us and we owe us. How about that shit? We owe our kids. How about that? But I don't know. It's like, again, we have the money, we have the tools, we have the skill, we have the talents, we have our own, we have great educators, We have great healthcare professionals, great engineers, great writers, great everything. You know, black folks, when we move forward, we put our best foot forward, we excel in everything. Literally everything. Why? Why aren't we doing that, man? You know, we need to have people like to throw around the whole concept or code phrase, I guess, of intergenerational wealth. You can't have that if you don't work at it. And yeah, I know people also say, well, black people don't trust people. Okay. But we need to change that, no? Like if we, first of all, black people primarily are working people. We're working class folk, primarily. Yeah, you got people who are out of work. You got people who don't want to work. But that's not the majority by any means. I wonder if we just like developed community organizations and put just $100 a month. Some people could do more than $100. Some people may, not be able to do that. Some people may be able to do $100 per pay period or what have you. If we could just put that to the side, like in a kitty, just in the neighborhood, like I'm trying to estimate the size of my community right now. And it's not just black folk who live in my community, but I'm just thinking what an average size of a community would be. If you just get like 100 people to do that, bro, we could buy like our own school. We could start a store. We could have like everything. Listen, don't be fooled to think. Maybe most people just were like, yeah, Tulsa, we had a Black Wall Street, which is weird to me that we always like to compare it to white folks in Wall Street, especially with the history of the Wall Street. But I guess people just look at Tulsa topically. But do you understand what they had to sacrifice and scrimp and save in order to have a community going? Now, of course, the whole freaking land is native territory. But that was native territory. I saw OWN did something. I want to watch the whole thing. I may have OWN, Oprah Winfrey's network, because I have I have Discovery Plus. I think she's on there. Maybe I can actually watch her thing that she did on, not her, but what they did on her channel about Tulsa, because they actually gave some history of the Native American connection with how black folks got to Oklahoma in the first place. But regardless of how they got the land, they had to sustain it. They had to open stores. They had to work together. They were a community. Get that? They were a community. And they had to trust each other. The problem now, I think, not that I'm a segregationalist per se, but I really think that a big thing that messed us up as black folk in this country is integration, because black folks, even now, in my opinion, even a lot of the people who say they're woke or, talk all this pro-black stuff or whatever, they really just want to be accepted by white people. They really just want to be loved by white people. They really just want to harness the power that white people have. They just want to be white folks. And so that's why and the reason I say that, one of the reasons I say that, because it's not like majority black people that I notice anyway, in the real world and virtually, it's not like they want things for other people too. They don't care about Native Americans. They don't care about POC unless it's convenient. A lot of them don't even care about light-skinned black folk, let me tell you. They like, damn on them. We the ones who suffer. We want reparations. We want this. We want that. Unless it benefits to say like, well, no, we're all together, we're black and brown people, but for the most part, they don't want that. They want to be accepted as black people. They want to be able to shop in stores, on Rodeo Drive or whatever, and not be questioned about if they can afford it. Fuck them. I'm sorry. I know my mouth is horrible sometimes, but sometimes I'm a poet. Sometimes wordage means everything, and fuck them. Why? Why do we always want to be... You're throwing away your money to people who don't even like you, honey. Like, come on. That's just crazy to me. But, so many black people, they want to be able to move in spaces where white people can move in. They feel like this upstairs status. They want white spouses. They want high yellow children with good hair. They want schools where they go. They feel like being involved with white people, again, ups their own status. And so when integration took place, so much money came out of the community, so much community came out of the community, and it's just really sad. I don't know, man. But I do know without a doubt that we can make our communities better for ourselves, and we should. Why the hell we keep waiting for other people to do for us? Have we not learned? Now, it's going to take a lot of work, but hell, anything that's worth having is going to take a lot of work, especially when there's so many years and decades of emotional abuse, not trusting and everything among black people. Not even talking about what we get from white folk, but just among black people. And but we can do it. We can do it. And it might not take those 100 people in the neighborhood to put $100 away. It might have to start at just 20. And then when people see that, progress is happening, and see that, they can participate to get it moving, faster and better and larger, then maybe, it would gain some sort of velocity. But, and I know there are plenty of, I said something like this on my Facebook page about a year ago. And one was like, well, we already do have co-ops. And yeah, but it's like they're like little pocket groups all over the place. I know that. But we're talking about I'm talking about on a mass level. A little co-op with 5 or 10 families that are barely making it. That's not what I'm talking about. We have things already. Like, I'm looking at this right now. There's this big old building. It used to be a Catholic church, and it was bought by some Eastern folks, and they changed it into a masjid. It used to be a school. It was a Catholic church and had a school and everything. I don't know the terminology for Catholic stuff, reformatory or something. I'm not sure. But my point is, they bought it. This is what I know as moving through different masjids, throughout the eastern coast. What I know is this: Eastern black masjids, and this is indicative of just black communities and thinking, in my opinion. Black masjids, the imam literally be up there begging for money to keep the masjid up. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, there's all these fly ass cars sitting outside, SUVs, Benzes, all this kind of stuff. People walking up there. Sister got on Ralph Lauren or Fendi, niqab and all this kind of stuff, like expensive, clothes and all these kind of things. And the imam is literally begging for donations so that we could buy a building. And oftentimes they've been trying to buy this building for like 20 years and they can't do it because ain't nobody giving, and I mean, people give, but it's like $20 here, whatever. Certainly not enough to buy a little storefront building that we have been paying rent and occupying for 20 years. Meanwhile, you see these other cats, they give money. You hear me? I remember years ago, I went to this one masjid in Jersey. And it's a nice looking masjid. They had the typical Eastern look to it, like with the minarets and all that kind of thing. And right in New Jersey. And I think it was during Ramadan. I'm almost certain it was during Ramadan. We went there. And they had listed on the wall all the money that they had gathered, I guess the previous month, and what it went to. And when I tell you, it was thousands, like $100,000. Like it added up to $10,000 went to this, $3,000 went to this, so on and so forth. And they were being transparent. This is where the money is going. And it's not always like that. That's the only place I've seen it actually. But my point is, those cats give money because they understand the importance of ownership. So I've heard so many black folks talk about immigrant people. They come over here, they get loans, they do this, they do that. Banks don't just give loans for the hell of giving loans. They only giving loans if the investment is going to be beneficial for them. These mofos come over here. I'm not saying mofo in a bad way, but these cats, these people come over here and they band together. It don't mean they like each other. It don't even have to necessarily mean that they trust each other totally, but they understand the mission, the goal, and they know to own. Ownership is where it is, man. But like I said, I'm talking about masjids, but it's indicative of what goes on. I don't know how or when we gonna get it together, but I really pray a lot that we do, because man, it's just going downhill fast, going further down the hill, I should say. But we can stop it. We could grab hold of that sucker and pull it back up the hill, you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, those are my long behind thoughts. I'm always making these long videos. Check y'all later. Let me know. What do you think? What do you think we can do? Do you think I'm like way off with this, or I don't know. Can you start a community organization to get it going? I know back home, and I'm sure this is all over the country, back home they used to have these things. They call them like POP or some kind of stuff. OPP, something crazy you used to call it. But they would have like a little group. And I know they still do it actually, because somebody asked me if I wanted to be down with theirs recently. But, well, not long ago. But they have these things where it might be like 5 or 10 people, and they put money into the kitty. Like say, I don't know how much they do, maybe $1,000 or something like that. And the idea is, say if there's 10 of you and you put in $1,000, that's $10,000 for that month, right? So it goes to the first person who, let's say, want to open a store up. Or maybe they do this for like 6 months or whatever. And so now they have $60,000. And that money goes to one of the members to open a store, let's say. And then that member has X amount of time to pay it back to the group, and then it goes to the next person, that sort of thing. And that's wonderful to me, you know. But also, what I'm saying is that sort of idea, I suppose, but instead of starting something personal for your family, start something personal for the community. Again, a school, um, you know, a medical clinic, where also holistic healing can also take place. A supermarket where you can buy wholesome food. We don't have to pay Whole Foods prices for it. Feel me? Um, Trader Joe's is kind of like that. um, you know, again, man, we can do it. I was gonna say something else too. I don't recall. Let me see if I can think of it before I stop. I don't know what I was gonna say, but basically along the same lines of what I've been saying for the past 25 minutes. Yeah, I hope we can do something. All right, peace. I'm about to eat strawberry.